Hello, everyone. The name of the article that me and Madison chose to present on is Considerations for Addressing the Needs of Culturally and Linguistically Diverse Speech-Language Pathology Praxis Test Takers. So, background and theoretical framework. There is a scarce number of linguistically and culturally diverse SLPs. The workforce has a serious diversity problem. The Praxis test is culturally and linguistically biased. It was written for and by white, English-speaking individuals. Cultural minorities continue to perform lower than their non-diverse white counterparts. The purpose of the article was to discuss the barriers to licensure and certification for culturally and linguistically diverse students studying speech-language pathology, and what other barriers besides the praxis may contribute to the underrepresentation of these students, and why is this significant? Research questions and hypothesis. So the article asked the questions of, compared to general US demographics, what proportion of test takers fit into each racial and ethnic group? Did these proportions change from the years of 2008 to 2011 and 2014 to 2020? From 2014 to 2020, what percentage of each racial ethnic group passed the praxis on their first attempt, and between white non-Hispanic/Latinx and the other racial ethnic groups, was there any change in the difference of mean scores between those year ranges? It is thought that the white non-Hispanic/Latinx students may have an inherent advantage over the CLD students on the SLP praxis test, contributing to them representing a disproportionate amount of the SLP workforce. Praxis test scores from 2008 to 2011 and 2014 to 2020 were compared using US demographic data and estimates of the racial ethnic groups, proportions of the racial ethnic groups, and trends in mean scores by race of test takers.
The study found that the proportion of culturally and linguistically diverse test takers is increasing, although these test takers' first-time scores were lower than their white non-Hispanic peers. Despite this increase, there is still a major lack of diversity in students who take the praxis exam. The study also listed and discussed barriers affecting CLD students. For example, the article stated that at the graduate level, lower GRE scores may affect the admissions process, resulting in more submissions, leading to higher costs, and this is worrisome considering the already existing trends and lack of financial support for CLD individuals. Also, language barriers may make it difficult for CLD students to comprehend material. There are also trends in increased financial stress, anxiety, and a decreasing trend in social and mentor support for CLD students. Last, social differences may make socialization difficult for culturally and linguistically diverse individuals, causing them to feel like they may not fit in, causing hesitation to ask questions or even to socialize with their peers. The study's primary implication is the underrepresentation of culturally and linguistically diverse individuals in speech pathology. It is also essential to note that because culturally and linguistically diverse test takers' first-time scores on the praxis are lower than their white non-Hispanic peers, there is a potential delay in employment. Underrepresentation of minority groups also hinders cultural competence, which we should instead try to promote, as it encourages everyone to work together more effortlessly, contribute new perspectives, and to respect peers. In the lecture for this module, we discussed acculturation, which is defined as language and customs impacting test performance. In this study, this test is the praxis. Due to acculturation's impact on construct validity, the praxis scores are not as maximally meaningful a representation of culturally and linguistically diverse individuals' knowledge, as they have to overcome barriers to the exam, such as cultural differences and language barriers. Also in the lecture, we discussed that in major cities, many minority groups are becoming the majority, and we find from the study that the praxis exam fails to consider this trend in demographics.